And recording is in progress. The floor is yours, Lloyd Helferty.
All right, so thank you very much, Andrew. Today is Thursday, December 28th. This is Indigenous Global Unity Summit, IGU Summit, number 134. And it is Thursday, December 28th. Our guest speaker today is intended to be Mamat Sosol Mamat from UnityNet Cameroon. His organization, Saheli, located in Makari, in the extreme north of Cameroon. Title of his presentation, Creation of a Reforestation Site and Communal Nursery in Blangua, Cameroon. The full title that Mamat was wanting to use was Creation of a Reforestation Site of 22,000 plants and a communal nursery of 10,000 plants in the district of Blangua. So I'd like to ask those who are on the call today with us to let me know if they do see Mamat Sosol coming on to the call with us. In the meantime, what I will be doing is to go ahead with the opening presentation as it normally is done. The networks that are related to what we are doing are Peace Centers Network, UnityNet Africa and Diaspora, UNAD, and our Watershed Peace Gardens campaign, which is already underway, but we are moving forward in 2022 to expand the program. So again, thank you, Andrew. As I had noted in the promotions for this Indigenous Global Unity Summit event, this is the last of our regular Thursday IGU Summit events and discussions as per this format of having the live presentations and discussions on Zoom. From January forward, all of our events will be pre-recorded and broadcast without live audience. That's always the first thing I do like to say, though, especially for all of our friends in Africa or Al-Kebula, is Asante Sana, or thank you very much, in Swahili. Thank you for allowing me to introduce this network of networks, or UnityNet, during our weekly events of this Indigenous Global Unity Summit, hosted by UnityNet International with Andrew Networks on behalf of the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors. I do like to say at this point, Sawubona, which means I see you, I see myself in you. I see your hopes, your dreams, and your struggles. I see your ancestors as well, because interconnectedness does not end with two people who are greeting each other. It extends to include the ancestors, because all beings and Mother Nature are interconnected. There is no sense of being separate. I see myself in all beings, and therefore, if I harm other beings or Mother Nature, it translates into harming myself. Just to move forward in the presentation, I do like to start by acknowledging those who came before us on this land and say land acknowledgement. So we begin today by acknowledging that we walk upon the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples. We recognize their history, spirituality, culture, and stewardship of the land. We're grateful to all Indigenous groups for their commitment to protect the land and its resources. We're committed to reconciliation, partnership, and enhanced understanding. We'd like to thank the Indigenous people of these lands for sharing this land with us. In our role as settlers and visitors and displaced people on this land, we share the responsibility of challenging and disrupting colonial systems that enact violence upon the land and stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. We also acknowledge and recognize all of the world's Indigenous peoples as stewards of Mother Earth. So my name is Lloyd Helferty. I am co-founder of UnityNet International, which is a hybrid holistic practicum learning system management company based in Canada that also assists with community partnership building locally and globally, or as we like to say, glocally, by leveraging a unique set of community engagement activities developed in partnership with the members of the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors. I'm also the Chief Ecosystem Director, Program Development Director, and the Sustainable Society Consultant for AHIABGA Institute, which is headquartered in Manhattan, New York, and is a private 501(c)(3) nonprofit company that's a member of the UN Global Compact and a UN Academic Impact Member and Partner. We started out as a virtual university, created to help empower global populations to reestablish a sustainable balance with their local environments by designing and implementing projects that support a strong and diversified local economy while integrating core sustainable technologies and infrastructure into those communities in the areas of renewable energy, high-density food growth solutions, along with systems of sustainably managing local waste streams and protecting local water resources. As well, I am a Goodwill Ambassador for the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors and Activists. We call it AHIABGA, with a portfolio that covers Canada, La Francophonie, the Commonwealth of Nations, and Turtle Island communities. We are seeking to empower our communities to engage with royal, Indigenous, and tribal leadership, as well as interfaith, non-governmental, academic, and business collaboratives, so that collectively humanity will leave no one behind as we achieve the global goals or the Sustainable Development Goals. And as always, before we start our main presentation today, by our guest speaker, again, I'd like to make sure that he is coming on. Let me know. I'd like to give this short presentation about the work of UnityNet, our global Unity network. UnityNet is a network being created by UnityNet International, a humanitarian enterprise hybrid holistic practical learning system management company, focusing on both sustainable and regenerative development solutions, especially related to SDG 2, Zero Hunger, SDG 13, Climate Action, and SDG 10, Reduced Inequalities. We're supporting and promoting the local delivery of open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure set up as life learning gardens, which we call Community Unity Garden Learning Centers. These learning centers will serve two main purposes. The first are as cultural celebration centers, where all of the UnityNet members will be able to celebrate our diversity together, whether in person or virtually, in addition to receiving education and training in humanitarian entrepreneurship knowledge, including hard and soft skills, abilities, and competencies. We're also leveraging the unique process of localizing delivery and achievement of the global goals, starting with the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and in future, the Regenerative Development Goals, as we anticipate they may be called. We're also offering services such as community engagement, events, and activities delivered by our members and partners, coordinated centrally and globally, along with the related practical education and training delivery infrastructure established as regenerative development and humanitarian enterprise structures and solutions. The services that we offer will allow other companies who partner with us to make money doing what they do best, while also supporting the achievement of these global goals, and in future, the regenerative development goals as anticipated. Our systems and structures are intended to empower our female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs, those members we call our FFHE, to succeed through partnerships, leaving no one behind. And one of the other things that I do like to emphasize, just so it is clear and there is no confusion, UnityNet is not a peace organization. Our focus is on the delivery of education and training related to the infrastructure, including the hardware, that can be used for adaptation to climate change. But if we can help to achieve peace in some parts of the world, that's a bonus as a side effect. Although it is something that we do understand is also a necessity, prerequisite to maintaining such infrastructure intact and functional and fit for purpose in future. We are also not a peace education organization specifically, and although we are leveraging peace as a vital tool for achieving our objectives, i.e. allowing local communities to learn how to become more resilient and adapt to a changing climate, we also do not deliver the actual peace education, nor even the community engagement activities. We do all of what we do through partnerships as per SDG 17, with our delivery partners for the peace education and the peace-related community engagement. At the very least, in the Greater Toronto area of Ontario, Canada, where we are headquartered, other communities can choose their own local peace education partners if they want to. Thus, what UnityNet is doing is providing the various spaces, both the digital discussion that allow people to groups to share vital information, and in future, the physical spaces that will allow us to demonstrate infrastructure that, if designed and used properly, will allow local communities to more easily adapt and hopefully to thrive, even in a much hotter world and changed climate with potentially vastly different weather patterns. And although you may ask the question of us, do we actually want young people to learn about peace, including things like peace prayer societies and peace bowls? Absolutely yes, but it is not our purpose or job to deliver that kind of peace education. That is what our other organizations can do best, far better than we can. People need to think of our UnityNet network of networks like empty classrooms that are just spaces for learning. Nobody can learn much of anything from just an empty classroom, of course. So we do need teachers to occupy these classrooms, but where the classrooms we establish are focused on building and demonstrating in the real world an alternative vision of actions that can be taken in our local communities to achieve peace and sustainability locally. So one other thing is we don't focus on solutions for reducing emissions of CO2 or any other greenhouse gases in order to mitigate climate change. That approach is being repeated by millions of people and thousands of companies. It is also a bit of a lost cause because it's likely too late for that. The changes in climate are already starting to accelerate and change how we live and work and produce our food. And while getting to zero, or achieving net zero by whatever date in the far future, usually by those who promise to say by 2050, is still an important goal. The climate will have changed so much by then that many places in the world will become unlivable unless drastic efforts are made to mobilize people to create resilience and start to radically change and retrofit our infrastructure so that we can begin adapting to this new normal. So it is the next generation of young people who will need to have the skills and will allow these retrofits to be done. And this is what we are focused on. This is more about survivability for what we know is coming, almost no matter how much we reduce emissions over the next 2 or 3 decades. These are the skills that we plan on teaching young people in our community Unity Garden learning centers, which all of our schools, in all of our local communities can use in every local community region or of our global Unity network. UnityNet does this by working with our delivery partners who are capable of teaching those young people how to live peacefully and in harmony with nature for all of our relations, and also with each other as much as possible, while also teaching them about the changes that are necessary to our infrastructure that will allow humanity to adapt to the changing climate, which is a reality that is already happening in all countries, but where some countries are rather more affected than others, and where some other countries are much more capable of adapting. But I'm not going to go into the details of that at this time. What UnityNet is doing is intended to facilitate what we call peace-based regenerative globalization by helping to identify, bring together all of the local, regional, national, and international partners required for creating localized multi-stakeholder partnerships. We call these our INAV Collaborative Empowerment Networks. They're intended to empower our local regenerative development solutions providers, what we call our UnityNet Female and Feminist Humanitarian Entrepreneurs, our FFHE, in all of our local communities worldwide. We're assisting in the global transition to a globalized, responsible, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that aims to leave no one behind. or as we say, a group CCRE-LNLB, as we approach the end of the Sustainable Development Goals that are being promoted by the United Nations from 2015 to 2030. The purpose of UnityNet is to develop a system to localize these global goals, the SDGs currently, and in future, the RDGs, or Regenerative Development Goals. We do this by developing and assisting, especially in coordination of the infrastructure related to delivery of these community engagement activities that can be used by communities as tools for creating the local partnerships as per SDG 17, partnerships for the goals. So we have also been establishing the various network spaces on WhatsApp and Facebook and LinkedIn for exchange and collaboration between members. Will eventually be expected to come together locally and regionally to establish these INAB collaboratives, which are the backbone of our network of networks. UnityNet is not just the discussion groups, nor the individual NGOs, CBOs, or co-ops and enterprises, or governments, or any of that. Whether some are created as a result of these discussions, or may already exist in their own little silos. Our purpose is to create a global to local, or local to global empowerment network for humanitarian entrepreneurs and their local enterprises. It consists of all of the members of the INAB collaboratives, plus all of the professional members of our global partnership for regenerative development, and any other allies or partners that we determine to be important for our purposes. But the ultimate place where we want all of our members to end up is what we call our Interchange for Peace, VCN, or Virtual Collaborative Network, where all of these siloed social media groups can be brought together in one single platform that will allow for massive virtual collaboration for projects that need to be done in the local communities. This is the essence of what UnityNet is intending to become. It may take a while to get there, and we will need some significant investments and time and effort to get there. But that is the vision of our ultimate purpose, because as I mentioned earlier, we need to efficiently accelerate our ability to adapt to the changing climate and energy landscapes in every local community globally. And as even the UN acknowledges, the piecemeal and siloed efforts that have been made so far in the first 9 years of this journey of sustainability have been rather dismal. And in too many cases, we are further behind than we were in 2015. So what do? This failure of the UN system, the approach that's being taken, is not likely to be solved just by throwing more money at the problem, as they say. There was a really smart gentleman who once said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So what are we attempting to do here is to do something quite different and try to make an impact as best we can. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time left to get this whole thing going, but we will continue our efforts as best as we can as a team. And I am confident that somewhere in our network, someone is watching and will say to themselves, okay, I think these guys are ready, and will support our journey to achieve that vision that I described earlier. In the meantime, we try to move forward. So what is UnityNet? Of course, a big part of our purpose is to help our members establish both the enterprise partnerships as well as the local empowerment networks so that their own local community will be investment ready. Our UnityNet partners will also help our members to establish their own local community-based, regional, or watershed-based social enterprise if they need some assistance with that as well. Our work is not for charitable giving. We focus on productive, regenerative, climate-smart investments, supporting people and planet holistically. The team at UnityNet International is trying to find ways to facilitate and create pathways for investors and investment funds to finance not just the regenerative projects, but also the local humanitarian enterprises run as community and watershed and ecoregion-based collaborative and cooperative humanitarian social enterprises. These humanitarian social enterprises are intended to be built and run by our UnityNet FFHE members will be trained to design, build, operate, and maintain the collaborative, productive community enterprises, starting with the community Unity Garden Learning Centers, which will also be used to teach others the same using various practicum learning tools and techniques. Thus, what we are building here, all of our social structures and network of networks, these are intended to facilitate global cooperative enterprise development, as well as investments into people and the related regenerative infrastructure that they need in order to succeed and to thrive in a much different climate. One thing I do like to say to our members and supporters at this time, as a reminder for the members of UnityNet, is that we always must remember we are fighting with peace and not for it, which means using higher consciousness in achieving our objectives. We're not fighting a war with each other to save the planet. We're making peace with the planet to save ourselves. This is the strategy being delivered at the grassroots level in all of our local communities and will allow us to create a shared consciousness with peacemaking that is more contagious than fear or war. So in summary, the unity that we're hoping to achieve within UnityNet is a global unity of community, starting with our UnityNet female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs, our local humanitarian entrepreneurs on the ground who are delivering the local solutions for achieving the global goals, the SDGs, and in future, the RDGs post-2030. Under the UnityNet system of establishing youth peace gardens in all of our local communities, we can also ensure that all people can recognize the humanity in other humans. We also want to ensure that the next generation of young people will no longer dehumanize other human beings as lesser than, just because of their differences. Instead, the members of the UnityNet celebrate our humanity and celebrate our diversity in all of our diverse cultures and histories in all continents and islands globally. This is done through the establishment of the local youth peace gardens, where each one is twinned with others around the world across what may be very diverse cultures, and where we seek to bring together all human beings in common purpose to addressing the two main goals of our 17 goals that are universal to all living things, humans included. The first, SDG 2, Zero Hunger, because all humans eat food and require it for survival and growth. The second, SDG 13, Climate Action, because all humans live on this planet we call Earth, and we have no other home but this one. No matter how many people may want to live on Mars, we cannot ship billions of people to another planet that does not support life as we know it and which we are part of. Thus, we do our work within UnityNet through the transformation of our food systems, not just toward regenerative and climate-smart production systems, but also toward the establishment of localized supply chains, thus going global and local simultaneously. The work is done by establishing our network of local, productive, regenerative, and climate-smart community projects, what we call the Community Unity Garden Learning Centers, established as community unity hubs and community unity peace centers in all of the local communities of UnityNet. And by using the various open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure solutions that are built and run by the local productive cooperative humanitarian enterprises that will be managed by our FFHE members and empowered by the INAP Collaborative Network, and where our FFHE members, by working in partnership with the existing local schools, along with our network of mentors, will learn how to build, operate, maintain, and manage these local productive community businesses and enterprises for the benefit of all stakeholders in their own local communities, always with the goal of leaving no one behind. Where the stakeholder is anyone who eats, where all of us do, so it includes all people. In conclusion, the overall purpose of UnityNet is to establish a global network of interfaith, non-governmental, academic, and business collaboratives, or INAP collaboratives, to empower our global partnership for regenerative development and FFHE members will be tasked with establishing a global network of community Unity Garden learning centers where hybrid exchange programs and practical learning will be delivered by the members of UnityNet's partners to all members of the Global Partnership and our Learning Partnership for Global Unity. The learning programs are intended to be delivered through the Global Sister Schools program in partnership with the members of the Global Unity Network in support of the UnityNet and Ad hoc International Advisory Board project of globalization of the global goals and the establishment of a localized, responsible, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that aims to leave no one behind. And one more time, I wanted to remind all our participants today as well, and I apologize for not having sent out the World Civility Index certificates and points for the last few weeks, but I will do so this weekend. I would like to ask everyone who is attending this live Zoom call today to please enter your full name and email into the Zoom chat window if you would like to get a certificate of attendance for participating in this virtual discussion. As a bonus for all our participants, you will also get a unique World Civility Index point or credit for your participation, which is only good for those who attend this call today. So both the certificate of attendance and the WCI credit will be sent to you by email as a PDF attachment, but only if you share your name and email with us on the Zoom call in the chat window, and only if you attend and participate in this call today by watching the presentation right to the end, and hopefully our guest speaker will come on with us. We understand if you might need to leave a bit early, but please try to stay as long as you can. Please also note there will be a question and answer period afterwards with the presenter who will be able to give us some additional details of what they're doing in their local regional communities and can answer additional questions if you have anything more about the projects that their CSO or enterprise is doing in their local community. This now ends the opening presentation. I wanted to mention one more thing. Please follow us, sign up for our UnityNet International Eventbrite notifications so you'll know immediately as soon as our new event is published. Also join the various Facebook and LinkedIn groups organized by topic so you can interact with the most relevant people in any given domain of our network, geographically or by topic. I do normally like to say, let's get started and with our main event. Today, as advertised, the creation of a reforestation site and communal nursery in Blangua, Cameroon, delivered by Mamat Sosal Mamat from UnityNet Cameroon, who is with an organization on Saheli in Makari in the extreme north of Cameroon. But I'm looking, I'm not sure I see it.
Lord, I just inserted this as a transition point, so now you can continue. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, actually, I did have a few other slides, and maybe I can just share my screen.
Of course, go right ahead.
Okay, and we can transition there. I do hope that everyone on this call or watching on Facebook or later on YouTube will also join our Global Unity Network, where we will continue to provide our members with opportunities to promote their own local organization who is working in or with a marginalized community every Thursday, where we bring on a guest speaker from a place like Africa, where nearly all of their people are indigenous to those lands, except of course for the colonial settlers and those displaced by war, disaster, or conflict. One important other note, Andrew Networks, which has been our host for this IGU Summit series of events for the past 2 years, will also be changing their format. We'll also be ending this live presentation series, which began with the Sunlight Spectacle in 2021 on Thursday, June 10th, 2021, in a message from Canada to the world, a message of UnityNet, or Unity, peace, hope, sovereignty, sustainability, resilience, forgiveness, reconciliation, and regeneration. As what we promoted the first time, we are seeking new beginnings as we begin the process of watering the fields of humanity. So as a reminder, in 2024, we will have a different presentation format, but we will continue to try and host events like this one in the years moving forward into 2030 and possibly beyond, especially in partnership with Drawdown Markham and through our relationship with the We Energon Global Cooperation, Turtle Island International Civil Society Organization. So again, thank you very much, Andrew, for giving us this boost that we needed to get started on this amazing journey, which has only just begun for the UnityNet partners and members. But as always, I would like to invite any other Indigenous community members in the world to give a presentation about their own local situations during one of our upcoming IGU Summit events in 2024. UnityNet will continue to seek to prepare all of our young people for the globalized, responsible, productive, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that we expect to be coming in the future economy that leaves no one behind. I do look forward to seeing you all in our next and upcoming events, including next year at our UnityNet Sunlight Spectacle 2024, which will be done in alignment with the Great American Eclipse that concludes in East Central Canada. The Sunlight Spectacle commenced with the consecration of the original trees of peace and reconciliation that are still being planted all around the world, and climaxes with the installation of a pyropod bubble toucan in Windsor, Ontario on April 8th, 2024, and we will continue throughout the next several years, perhaps decades over, with the planting of the Youth Peace Gardens and other productive open source regenerative climate smart infrastructure in the local communities globally. So there are a few more things that I wanted to say today before we close out, if we don't have our guest speaker, and then we could begin some open discussions. I do want to do a bit of an overview of where we're at, what we are doing at this point in time, including highlighting that we are in discussions with a Rotary Club based in the US that will be focusing on refugees and forced migrants, including climate refugees. We do plan to begin our partnership plan for the development of the UnityNet Youth Peace Gardens programs in partnership with Rotary International, along with other key partners like the YMCA. We have started to organize our teams in Canada so that we can establish the first set of Youth Peace Gardens, and so we can also establish some INAP collaboratives that will then lead us toward the establishment of a number of different community Unity Garden learning centers in various cities and communities across Ontario and the country, possibly including in the cities of Markham, Mississauga, and Toronto, and Windsor, and Hamilton, and Ottawa, and Calgary, and Vancouver, and perhaps also in West Kootenay, BC. We are also in discussions with teams who are poised to establish INAP collaboratives in various communities in Canada, twinned with the INAP collaboratives and projects in places like Kenya and communities in Africa, and possibly also in the US and in islands and even in Asia, as part of the first phase of our twinned community projects. During our first year in 2024, we will begin these campaigns in earnest right from the beginning of the year. However, the big event that we want to highlight is the UnityNet Sunlight Spectacle event 2024, which happens on Monday, April 8th, 2024 in Windsor, Ontario. This major event will memorialize the 7-year Sunlight Spectacle experience that is taking place between 2017 and 2024, in alignment with the Great American Eclipse that concludes in Canada. The Sunlight Spectacle commenced with the consecration of the trees of peace and reconciliation that will continue to be planted all around the world in the Youth Peace Gardens, and climaxes with the installation of that pyropod bubble toucan in Windsor on April 8th, 2024. From that Sunlight Spectacle on April 8th, we plan to begin to organize a series of Grandmother Earth Walks in all of our local communities of UnityNet, that also wish to participate in collaboration with the Global Council of Watershed Grandmothers. This action was inspired by Indigenous grandmother Josephine Mandan, who began her water walks in 2003, and walked 17,000 kilometers around all of the Great Lakes to protect the waters and to raise awareness of the urgent need to fight water pollution and contaminated water on Indigenous reserves in Canada. This will be the beginning of the Caravan of Grandmothers 2025, a virtual and possibly also in-person walk across Canada from the east to the west, from Newfoundland to Vancouver, so that Indigenous grandmothers and their families of Africa and the African diaspora, along with their allies, can plant trees of peace and reconciliation and establish these youth peace gardens all across the country ahead of and during the Invictus Games, which was announced by Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex at the Invictus Games in The Hague, which now takes place in Vancouver, Whistler, from February 8th to 16th, 2025. We also want to host a Grandmothers Indigenous Bubble Fund Multicultural Family Festival in the year 2025 in August. I would like this to happen in the city of Markham, or at least in York Region, with the city and the Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Clubs and others, in order to bring awareness to all of our UnityNet eco-villages that are being established and built around the world, even in our biggest and busiest cities, like in the Greater Toronto area, and where we plan to build at least one as a Unity Peace Center, showcasing all 5 of the open source regenerative climate-smart infrastructure solutions for achieving a productive, responsible, localized, compassionate, collaborative, regenerative economy that leaves no one behind. With our UnityNet Global Partnership, female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs, and the UnityNet Community Unity INAP Collaborative members leading the local development of our Unity Eco-Villages, established as part of the Global Eco-Village Centers of Excellence Network, where we expect that a specific university in Africa will lead the way for this development of our network and the related global educational partnership. So our UnityNet Global Sister Schools program, the GSSP, and our RDG clubs, along with the Unity 4K Clubs network, will be leading this. And from this point, the second phase of the twin community projects can begin, where we may also include communities in India, as well as in other countries in South Asia, like Nepal, and any other Caribbean, Central or South American, European, Middle Eastern, South or Southeast Asian countries who may be interested to join us may also do so as well. So this sums up our current plans for the next couple of years, and we are hopeful that our members and partners will agree that this plan of action will benefit them too, and certainly it will, because for each youth peace garden that we plant in Canada and on Turtle Island, or in any other developed economy, starting with the G20 countries, we will also work with the partnership in that local community to plant their own youth peace gardens and plan their own UnityNet Community Unity Hub in their own local communities too. But we only move forward with those communities who have formally established the INAP collaboratives to empower their local female and feminist humanitarian entrepreneurs, especially including the youth and all of the families of their own local watersheds and bioregions, with the aim, as always, of leaving no one behind. So this now actually ends my presentation. I do have a few more older slides, I'm not for today. It seems that we have not had our opportunity to include our guest speaker with us. He's actually online with WhatsApp, and I want to ask him very quickly if he's able to log in. I did provide him with the direct link to join us today. Something's going on with my computer. Apologies. My Skype, sorry, my WhatsApp just crashed. So at this point, I guess what we can do is open up the floor for any additional comments on what had been presented today, which was a slightly different presentation to what I do during these weekly events. I had added a few more slides.
Well, Lloyd, I have to say that I very much appreciate the clarity that you've brought forward as to what UnityNet is and what it is not. This is something that I do go through all the time in meetings that I have with those who want to join with us. Even after going through intake and orientation, I still get people who ask for funds as though we were a foundation, which of course is it's an outside organization where money is placed so that nonprofits can distribute it for a specific purpose. Independent contracting, all that sort of thing. But these are things that everybody's going to be learning as they go and as we build these large collaboratives. International nonprofit law is going to make it really clear. That yes, you get all these advantages, but you also have these rules you've got to be very careful about, because it's very easy to try to get the waters murky as far as to the benefits of what we do and what we bring. So, but that'll become pretty obvious, I think, as we have more people come into the UnityNet pages, and those that monitor or can make very, very clear what is and what is not appropriate for what we're bringing forward. What's going to get people.
One thing yeah, absolutely. One thing I did notice recently when I had done a feedback form for a big event that took place within the UN system was that one of the checkboxes for who we are to describe ourselves among the list of different types of organizations was network. And that's what I checked on the checkbox. And so we are not alone in being a network. This is now becoming commonplace for developing projects and other things. People are using social media, they're using private networks as well, which we're hoping also to continue to leverage various platforms within the private sector that will allow us to really boost the collaborative efforts of our members. For instance, because we are on social media, we are in all these siloed WhatsApp groups, siloed Facebook groups, siloed LinkedIn groups. And so many of these groups have the same members occupying them. So we can have a learning network and an arts network and a Bubble Fun Festival network, but they maybe have many of the same members. So it's very difficult to actually get a count of how many members we have. And if there were a platform that allowed us to bring all of the Facebook members on all of these different Facebook groups and all of the LinkedIn members in all these different LinkedIn groups and all the WhatsApp members in all the different WhatsApp groups together, we could create one single profile, and they could use any of those other social platforms, including Twitter, including anything else, together, so that they only have one profile, one face relating to one person, and it would be a lot easier to do a count to see actually how many members. I've estimated for the past, and I haven't done it recently, that we had roughly 500 members, but that's just an estimate. I have never been able to go through and count them in reality.
And that's increasing all the time as we get more coming through the discovery interviews and getting connected to those pages. I mean, I admire the WhatsApp setup simply because of the privacy issues that it addresses, that we make good use of, which is wonderful. Because a number of our pages are on very sensitive subjects. And that sort of privacy has to be upheld. And of course, we've got the other pages where everybody needs to be monitored, because you can easily be diverted by someone coming in and saying, hey, I heard about this wonderful thing, come over to this page and have a look. Well, if it's not relevant to the subject of the page, then it's a violation, a solicitation to go someplace else.
And we get that a lot. We get
we do
people coming in,
well, and
saying, come here, come here.
well, I know after a while it'll become very obvious what is and what is not appropriate as the numbers get larger. And I do anticipate those numbers will get a lot larger, simply because I've barely started going through discoveries with these associations. And because of the delicate nature of some of the populations that are served, having them come forward to talk with me, even one-on-one, can be a difficulty, because you're talking about groups that you've protected because of how they're seen by the general public. So that I understand, but we still need to go through the.
As I said as well, we have actually members. There are a few of our legacy Facebook groups as well that have requests to join, going back months, that I have not gone through to say yes, 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 or in some cases no, with regard to their membership growing. So they've been stagnant for a while, and that's especially true of the LinkedIn groups, which have many, I'd say several hundred among all the groups, members who have requested to join, but I just haven't gone through and said yes or no. Mostly I do say yes, but I do like to send a special welcome message and look at their profiles for each one of them.
Well, I know for LinkedIn, I'm one of those people who's made requests for several different pages that haven't been responded to, and so I'm guilty of this as well, being so overwhelmed with numbers that getting people rescheduled on meetings that they missed tends to be a large problem. But for those that have made it to their meetings and are ready for that next step, that's quite a bit easier to do. I usually right there during the meeting, congratulations, let's get this done. But if they miss the session, I just said, put in the report, did not show. And well, I hope that they contact me to say, hey, look, I'm sorry, I missed, this is what occurred, can we reschedule? But if they neglect to do that, then of course, they kind of fall off the schedule.
Yeah, no, at this point in time, it's hard to keep track of who's been coming in or not. I try to keep as good notes as I can in terms of all the meetings we have, of course, but also the connections we've made, especially as we've gone through this IGU Summit series. We do have a number of others that do want to do presentations. I'm hoping, I believe Andrew said that he wants up to 18 in a row scheduled ahead of time. I'm trying to build those numbers. I don't think I have nearly that many, so not sure if it's going to start next Thursday or not.
Well, I also think Andrew's suggestion that we take a look at what we've also recorded and have it on standby in case something occurs, because part of what we're offering here is opportunity for others to actually have practice putting presentations together, because this is going to be the norm later on, not just within UnityNet, but within the network of networks that is coming into this like, steel nails to a magnet.
Well, also the long-term vision is for us to syndicate this content. So we're kind of like the petri dish, so to speak. And the idea is to package it as professionally as we can so that it is qualified to be able to be picked up by larger networks than our own. But you're absolutely right. This is the place where we get it right and then go viral.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole idea. Make certain that people understand that presentation, truthfully, is not that hard a process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and
the tools are available. Even if Lloyd, the other thing too is that if we may want to consider having a requirement for your future guests to provide you with a PowerPoint or with a presentation that you can walk through, even if they're not able to be there.
mm-hmm.
And I'm still willing to this to be a hybrid event. When I say that we're not doing live, what I mean is that I would hope, Lloyd, that we can actually, still stream live at this time. But again, I'm hoping the content can be prepackaged so we don't have surprises. That's the only way we can enter the mainstream, is that we have to know what we're doing ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm trying to be more and more strict to say that they have to have their content uploaded, or I will not be promoting them.
You do. Oh, you do have a few new guests here. I'm not sure if Elijah Mwara is. Perhaps we could have a roll call or just a hello of those people that are here to get an idea of their inputs. And I do, before we close, I want to walk you through the work that Joseph Akinola has been doing in the background for Andrew Network. So perhaps you could allow our guests to introduce themselves, Lloyd, or each of us to say hello. Ball's your court.
Absolutely. I'd like to invite, there's 3 people on this call: Dave, Moses, and Elijah. Who might wish to also introduce themselves as well.
Well, probably
Dave?
should be each of us as well.
Hi there, good evening, good morning. I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa,
Wonderful.
and I'm a director on the Southern African Indigenous Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
We're so glad you're here. The
Thank
name,
you.
as you may know, is the Indigenous Global Unity Network, but that will always be subject to having Indigenous people here represented. So we want to invite you to use this as a platform where you can introduce the work that you're doing. And perhaps not many people know that where you are is, in fact, the cradle of humankind. And so
Yes.
all of us are indirectly connected to what you're doing. So we do want to thank you and welcome you, and hope that you'll be able to participate going forward. Thank you so much for joining us here.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
I'm hoping, Dave, that you will be able to also enter your contact information into the Zoom chat window so we can follow up with you as well
I'll
in
do
the
that.
future, and include you in your organization in some of our promotions.
Yeah, Moses, you were here first, but we're going to open it forward to Elijah Mwara, if that's okay with you, Moses. You're part of our team, but Elijah, please introduce yourself, your organization, and whatever information you'd like to share about what you've heard and what you'd like for us to become.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think here in Kenya is evening, and I hope from other countries is morning. I'm very grateful. I'm Elijah Mwaura. I'm here in Kenya, Nairobi, and I'm very happy to be in this meeting. And I have been following, and I grow each and every meeting that we meet. I go to the next level, so I grow. May God bless everyone who is in this meeting.
Thank you so much. And as Lloyd says, please make sure if you put your contact information in the chat, I'll try to get out to you a recording of this as well as a transcript. So you'll be able to to further review the content that we have here. So Moses, the floor is over to you now.
Thank you, Ambassador Andrew, Moses, Kiru, and Kasipa. the founder, executive director of Gilead Inclusive Global Organization. It's a non-profit organization registered at the headquarters in Mombasa, Kenya. I've been following and being a member of the UnityNet Kenya for quite some time now. And I'm very happy today to have attended the closing IGU meeting today. Thank you all, Mr. Lloyd, Lisa, all of you there for the great work you are doing. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, Lloyd, if it's okay with you, I'm going to walk through this website now, and then I'll turn it back over to you for close, unless there's something else.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to first put a intermediary screen there. This is Andrew Williams Jr. And it's Andrew Networks. That is the fictitious business name of my organization, the Personalized Advertising Representatives Export Trading Company, referral network. But that's our corporate name. But Andrew Networks is one of our DBAs, as is AHIABGA and AHIABGA-TV. I'm going to share my screen now with you and take you to the website where Joseph Akinola has been very diligent over these past few months in bringing us up to date with what's going on. And so you'll see that my name is actually Andrew Networks on the underneath my picture. So I'm available at Andrew Networks. It's very direct. It's very easy to find. We've worked over the past weekend to streamline our website. So if you're accessing it on your phone, it should be very easy to walk through. But on the computer, we have multiple tabs at the top. So we're able to provide, for example, we do have affiliates that we're working with, organizations that we support. Here in the United States and Canada, it's Legal Shield. So we provide Legal Shield and ID Shield affiliate memberships. Lloyd, you had mentioned the networks of networks, and we do have the Easy Expo as one of those affiliates that people can join through us. Also, Black History 365 is also one of our affiliates. So anyone can click on any of these and go directly to a website for additional information about that particular opportunity, whether it be as an affiliate or as a consumer of the products. It gives you information there about how you can participate. All these are available again through andrewnetworks.com, and it's the affiliate page. There are also causes that we care about, and those causes are, well, they span the entire world. In the Philippines, we do have an ongoing humanitarian cause where we're actually providing water, electricity, and Wi-Fi services to indigenous communities in the San Andreas Mountains area of Tanay, Rizal, but also Wi-Fi services to the Parents and Teachers Association. Center for African Volunteers is based in Kenya. The African Coaches League is based in Nigeria. The Ed Fu Foundation is here in the United States in Oakland. 5 Points Youth Foundation is here in Los Angeles, for which I'm president. Eradicate the Hate is in Long Beach, California. The Future Live Foundation is actually in South Africa. It's headed up by my daughter, Princess Shepi Motlong of the Baklokwa Nation. And we have the Saga Foundation based in Nigeria as well. That is our flagship for the work we've been doing on the ground. Project 1619.org is based in Hampton, Virginia, and they speak to the original first arrivals of Africans in what is now British America on August 15th of 1619. I'm also a member of the Universal Hip Hop Museum based in the Bronx, New York, where we're celebrating the 50th year of hip hop this year. United for Human Rights is an organization that we are firmly supporting, as human rights is the foundation of most of the work we're doing. Jet Age Nation Builders is also based in Abuja, Nigeria. Global Peace Let's Talk, based in UK. The World Civility Index that Lloyd mentioned earlier, and Carbon Shot, which is also based in Canada. Our partners are widely representative of multiple sectors this has been the kind of underlying engine or fuel that keeps us going. B Hallmark Services is actually Joseph Akinola, where we provide online design services. Well, let me walk through here. So B Hallmark is with Joseph Akinola. And Lisa Nees, you may remember that he's also part of our website development team. We have online examples of different templates that we use to provide you with a leg up so you don't have to start from scratch. These templates are easily customizable to whatever activity you're involved with. And we also have NGO and NPO websites, templates, so that whatever your work is doing, we can help you accomplish that objective. Private Jet Business Charter is based in South Africa as well. They have a fleet that's based in South Africa as well as in Nigeria. But this is for those people that are able to travel, and not just travel, but also may need to transport content from one place to another. These are chartered services. And on almost every one of these partner pages, you can find more information about what they're doing and how to reach them directly. In Alaska, we have the Intershelter Dome organization, which provides these instant modular building systems. They're able to address a variety of heat conditions or climate conditions around the world. And it's over 50 years old. These are 50-year structures. So once you get it, it's there for life. You can set these up in a matter of hours or take them down. So they could be a transitional housing or transitional management services. And you can also customize the interior of these domes for your use around the world. I'm not going to walk through each of these, but you can go to Andrew Networks and find that we are also involved with the oil and gas investment community as well as gold and diamonds. 60 Build Tech provides housing construction. TriStar Global Medical, again, Easy Expo. So we have a variety of organizations that we are actively supporting our activities. And I'm just inviting you to Andrew at andrewnetworks.com to reach me directly. And if you go to the website, you can also sign up for our email contacts or our newsletters. So Lloyd, the floor is back to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. I am at this point in time very much appreciating your support of all that we've been doing. We are obviously trying to go into the next phase of developing projects. I do want to have a conversation with some of the partners that we've been historically involved in having this movement to develop regenerative communities. For instance, Corin Smith in Bermuda and Richard Nelson, who is in Montreal, and others who are part of PodNet. We would like to see how we can move forward beyond just putting up the symbols of peace and reconciliation and forgiveness. For instance, the Bubble to Ken that's coming up in Windsor is a great symbol, but is not the solutions that are actually going to be useful to communities. But we will want to, as we move forward, promote the gardens as the symbols, but that's for the purpose of establishing the INAP collaboratives, the partnerships at the local level, which will then be able to learn how to build these structures, in particular in all of the regenerative productive solutions, because that is ultimately the knowledge that they need to understand is how to make this reality for themselves in their communities, wherever they live.
Right. All right, Lloyd, well, I'll leave it to you to close us out then. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you again, Moses and Elijah and Dave. Dave, I will hopefully be able to follow up with you as well as all the other ones that have come on to our calls throughout the past 2 years as we move forward. We do want to thank again Andrew for hosting us. If there are any final comments before we close out today, the floor is again open for those who may wish to say a few words.
Thank you for the opportunity. Look forward to working with you guys.
All right,
Thank
thank
you
you
very
so
much,
much.
Dave.
With that, we're gonna wind up for today. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.